Welcome to Talking Franchise with your host on here, Bonella, and Johnny Wong. All right, so we're back.
We're back here to talk Austin.
And what was our last
Powers.
episode? Our last episode was The Man, International Man of Mystery. So check that episode out, and also all previous episodes. Check out the Power Rangers podcast. I was listening to that. I had a chuckle or two to myself, laughing at myself and Wong. Watch First Class, the X-Men. We did the whole X-Men franchise. We also did the Fast and Furious franchise. We call that the Fast Chise. And we did Harold and Kumar, all three parts. All the way from going to White Castle, escaping Guantanamo Bay, and having a 3D Christmas. So check those episodes out. You get an episode every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. So be sure to check those out. And today, we're going to discuss...
The Spy Who Shagged Me. Austin Powers.
Groovy. Do I make you randy, baby? Do I make you horny?
I like this movie. It continues on from the first one where they last left off. Austin Powers now happily married with Vanessa.
Happily married with Vanessa.
But
then it turns out that Vanessa was a fembot all along.
Let's say, that was probably. I don't think we talked about that in the last podcast. That's one of my favorite scenes. Is the fembots.
Obviously, Austin Powers doesn't like to get on that nipple because he didn't notice that those titties had guns inside them.
Like, it's called foreplay.
It's called foreplay, yeah. He said, how did I miss those? He's like, maybe you should try foreplay next time.
It makes absolutely no sense how she was a fembot. But they threw it in there. I mean... It's a little again. James Bond gets the girl at the end of every movie, and in the next movie, that bitch is gone.
And then
next one is.
So they're playing off that.
So
there's a part where he's like a little bit distraught. He's all like,
he's like,
and then he's like, I'm single again. And then he takes her hand and he starts clapping. Yeah. Oh, behave.
I was saying, I remember seeing that back in the day in the theater. I was a little disappointed that I was like, "Oh no, Elizabeth Hurley again!" They just killed her off
the
like
shit
that.
out of her.
Okay, so
off the rip. First thing,
you get a whole new.
Then he goes streaking through
which he does. That's the signature Austin Powers opening. Another musical opening. They did the same thing almost in the first one, except he wasn't naked. This time he is, but they do this big elaborate opening sequence and dance and shit. And then you find out Dr. Evil, who's been...
He was hiding, and he was in space, actually.
He was in
Last
space.
night, he was in space. But at NATO, somebody at NATO, they were like looking at their feed, and they're watching... So it just so happens that they're watching Jerry Springer.
Oh, yeah.
And on this episode of Jerry Springer is My Dad's Evil, and he's trying to take over the world. They had a KKK member and a Nazi on stage already with their sons, their respective children.
You just mentioned Jerry Springer. How so this one, the movie it's a little dated.
Came back out in 1999, so
the movie's a little dated. It's not as timeless as the first one is, where you could just get into it and you can watch it. Like there's some jokes in this like you have to understand. You have to be
understand the late 90s. Jerry Springer show. That's when he was. That's when they started becoming famous.
Yeah, this one came out in '99, and this broke the fucking box office. Like I said, opening weekend made more money than the whole entire movie. The first movie made, but everyone watched the first one. This is right here. This is Mike Myers just blowing up, and this one, came out.
I just want to say something about that scene, the one with the Jerry Springer when he returns on Jerry Springer.
There's a Ku Klux Klan member.
Yeah, they're all fighting.
What kind of freak are you?
And they start fighting. He's like, "You don't talk about my son." And then he's like, "You were born in your mother's ass." That's one of the insults. He says, "You were born in your mother's ass." I started cracking up. But I couldn't.
So, this
like, "You were born in your mother's ass."
This movie is just as funny as the first one.
Yeah.
I don't think it's not as good as the first one, but it's up there though. I mean, again, you see a lot of ongoing jokes carry over from the first movie. This one, you get more double entendre. What's this time? You got a girl, Ivana Humpala. You have throwbacks. You have Will Ferrell cameoing again as Mustafa, but this time,
he's we did younger self. From that scene after it's Jerry Springer, is it always Dr. Evil goes? They go cut to Dr. Evil in his new lair.
Yeah,
the volcano lair.
Yeah, it turns out he's got a new weapon. He's got a new weapon and a new plan to stop Austin Powers. And his plan, he's gonna steal his mojo. I don't know what mojo is.
It's that je ne sais quoi, like the French say. He goes, it's what the French call a certain, I don't know what, which is, je ne sais quoi.
He's the snake to my mongoose, or the mongoose to my steak. Either way, it's bad. One of
the jokes that carry over is the shh. Remember, he's like, I got a whole bag of shh with your name on. This one is zip it. He's like, something when a problem comes along, zip it. Zip it good.
You pretty much got the same cast, but a few newcomers this time.
Subtitle.
Zip it. You got a few newcomers, and this time Austin Powers' love interest. She's a little more memorable than Vanessa. She's given more to do than what Elizabeth Hurley had. Heather Graham is now in the cast.
What you call it.
She is hot. Yeah. There you go. That's what I really need.
Before you forgot somebody else that's also a new addition is that when they're doing that. Yeah, Vern Troy. This is when they're at the headquarters, when they're in Volcano. They always say, "Oh, we tried to clone you," but the only thing is that he's 1/8 your size. And then they introduce Mini Me, and it's like, I'll call him Mini Me.
Mini Me is pretty big in the Austin Powers franchise. When you think Austin Powers and you think Dr. Evil, I think a lot of people also think of Mini Me. Like I said, this movie blew up. This was very popular back in the day, and it still is. This is why we're talking about it.
What about that time machine he had? The little the twirly thing, and he goes to jump through it. He goes, and it does not turn on, so he just smashes into it, and then he falls down the thing, and then he tells number 2 to turn it on.
But I was gonna say
that's like that little cheesy stuff that Dr. Evil. He's like a little bit. He's an evil doctor, but he's also a little bit inept.
Yeah, he's still dumb as ever, or still not up to date with the time. Or he's another ongoing joke where his plan with the Death Star, right? Or he was going to call the weapon a Death Star. Oh, that was the third movie, right?
Yeah.
No, he had this. He was going to call this project the Alan Parsons Project.
Yeah, and then Scott kept telling him that, like breaking down, like that's already a group. That's an actual
dumbass.
Yeah, a rock band. And so, before that happens, they show Austin Powers getting his mojo stolen by then another edition, Fat Bastard, played by Mike Myers.
Yeah, Mike Myers this time is playing 3 characters.
Scottish, fat, obese, super obese,
grotesque motherfucker.
Definitely. And he steals his mojo. Through drilling it through his penis. Through his
sack.
Through his sack, his nutsack. Yeah, it stole his juices.
He lost his mojo. But yeah, his whole plot is he was going to travel back in the 60s while Austin Powers was frozen, steal his mojo, and now he can defeat him because Austin Powers won't be as good anymore.
Yeah. So, in the future, present day, he's he's about to hump Ivana Humpala, but he goes impotent, so he can't because he lost his mojo back in the past. So then the Ministry of Defense lets him know what happened, that Dr. Evil stole his mojo and he needs to go back in time. And it's like a little bit of, I think it paid homage to, felt like Back to the Future, how the DeLorean, they had this Volkswagen Beetle. decked out like, Austin Powers style, the 60s, all colors and shit like that.
Austin Powers, he's got to get sent back to the 60s while he's still frozen, so he won't bump into himself or whatever. But he's frozen. Basil tells him not to worry. He tells him and the audience not to worry about the mechanics of time travel and just enjoy the ride.
Well, Heather Graham is with him. Well, is who he finds when he goes to his. He travels back in time and ends up back at his house. There's a party going on, and then there's 2 assassins trying to kill him, and Felicity Shagwell, which is Heather Graham, comes and saves him. She helps him out.
Yeah, he has to do another bit.
Well, that's by name.
Another ongoing bit. Oh, Will Ferrell wouldn't die in the last one. Austin Powers comes along, another girl who won't die, who just keeps getting shot up.
Yeah.
And then she's like, get the bazooka! And he still uses her as a shield. He's like, no! They go out the window. She's like, prepare to die! They're both gonna... He just uses her as a protective shield. Yeah. They just land on the ground.
Boom.
Pulling all the stories. Well, I mean,
that's hilarious.
This movie, it has a whole bunch of gags that are still... It's still hilarious.
I would say... If you could name your top 3, it's been a little while since I've seen it, but I'd say probably by far the funniest moment in this movie. This movie, I would say, is a little more juvenile too. There's a lot of shit jokes, sex jokes. The funniest joke in this movie, because I always talk about this with my girl too, and I could like quote the part, and she'll still always laugh, is when he mistakes shit for coffee.
That's like more into the movie. Like,
yeah, no, I know.
That's one of the greatest parts, though, too. I'm like, it's the most disturbing. No, we forgot you mentioned because one of the first people that he encounters is Mustafa. That's like the second assassin that tries to go after him, and he goes this bit where he can't be asked the same question 3 times because he has to answer it.
Yeah, like I said, there's all.
So it's like they ask him a series of questions. He's like, "Where is Dr. Evil's lair?" And he's like, "I will never tell you. I'll take it to the grave." And he's like, "Do I really have to ask you 2 more times?" And then he asks him again, and he's like, and then they break into the semantics of how he didn't really ask the 3 times in a row the same question. So, anyways, it goes back to Mini-Me takes him out, kills him, he falls down, and they throw back. They do pay homage to the joke that happened in the first part where he was burning. So now this one, he breaks his leg. He's like, "I'm very badly hurt. I'm gonna try to stand on my leg," and then he breaks his leg. So I like that. That's one of my favorite parts, the Mustafa part.
This movie, it's similar to the first one, where I'd say like every 2 minutes there's a good joke. There's more hits than misses. I don't think there's a lot of jokes in the movie that like, oh, wow, that was terrible or whatever. Like, no, this movie's genuinely funny. You can go back to it and you'll definitely have a laugh.
What about when they get Fat Bastard comes into the Dr. Evil's lair, and it's like an earthquake. It's a boom. They over exaggerate that part.
He has a fascination with Mini-Me.
Yeah, because he's a baby. He likes eating babies. He's
I want my baby back.
Baby. And then Dr. Evil takes a swig of
his nut juice. his mojo.
And then he ends up sleeping with Fra.
Which changes. So instead of Scott being like a test tube baby,
he's an actual
now an actual. His mother is Frau. So he would have been born in 1960 something, but this is like 2000. He'd be like in his third. I don't know. The timeline's all messed up.
It's just, they play a lot of shit for laughs. But like I said, this movie is easily just as quotable. And I would say you would say Heather Graham's a better love interest than Elizabeth Hurley in this movie. She's more likable in this movie.
Yeah,
but not anything against Elizabeth Hurley. But
she is like almost like Austin Powers in a sense. Like, because she's like, she goes like
herself.
She's like a Shag well by name, Shag very well by reputation.
I was gonna say they kind of flipped the roles a little bit. In the first one, Austin Powers had sex with a lot of vagina to get information, and Vanessa was pissed. Mm-hmm. This time, Felicity has sex with that bastard, and Austin Powers is hurt by that. And he's like, how could you have sex with him? And she's like, oh, he didn't mean nothing. No, literally, how could you have sex with him? He's so
the sheer mechanics of it are mind-boggling. It's like, bastard Forrest is, I'm reading this right now. We're like, going alright, okay. But after she has sex with him...
That's what...
She plants the homing device.
She plants the homing device, but that homing device is left in the toilet.
Because he shits it out.
Like, yeah, we need to test this stool sample. That is still by far the funniest part.
This is where he drinks shit.
This coffee tastes like shit.
It smells like shit.
Like,
First he smells like shit. And he's like, it is shit, Austin. And he's like,
good, it's not me. And then it's just like,
a bit nutty. Disturbing.
Nasty.
So,
and I probably the second funniest part of this movie, the gag when they do find Austin,
because they find a certain type of vegetable inside of his stool sample that is only exclusive to one Caribbean island. So they find out where
when they find the secret layer,
with an inconspicuous mountain with the face of fucking Dr. Evil.
When they're in the tent and the shadow, when they're doing the shadows.
Yeah, that one. They end up on an island.
Shit is hilarious. Like
looks like she's pulling out.
She's got to pull it, go into the bag, but it just looks like everything's coming out of his ass. And then the stink bomb, the smoke bomb goes off. He's like, oh, I asked you not.
These people make me sick.
And she pulls out the gerbil too. So
that is hilarious, man. That's one of the greatest parts in the movie. It's one of the funniest parts. Then and then they get to the Dr. Evil has his plan. His whole plan the whole time was to take over the world. Was threaten Washington with a laser. He was going to start shooting from the moon. He's already on the moon.
He showed them clips from Independence Day.
Yeah.
And they're like, what?
He goes to the moon. Matter of fact,
like, show me the money. They're like, show me the what? It's the 60s, dumbass.
Because he locks him up once again, and then Scott Evil goes like, You do this all the time.
He said it was funny because he gives.
He did put him on a net guard.
He gives him one idea though, and he's like, "Why don't you just go back in time when he's on the crapper and kill him?"
Yeah.
He was already trying to take a shit in the first movie, and they tried to kill him. Did not work. So it's all a little back to that shit.
Yeah, you're right. They did try to kill him when he was on the crapper, and. I just shoot him before he was. I don't get it.
I like that. Burt Bacharach had a cameo in the first movie. Did a song. This one, I like the music that they play in this movie. Definitely has a feel of the '60s. Mm-hmm. And then they have that early in the movie. They had the song and dance sequence with Burt Bacharach playing. It's a great song. I'll Never Fall in Love Again. I play that in the kitchen from time to time. It's a good song.
Yeah.
It's good. I like it.
Oh, we there. What do you get when you fall in love? That one. That song, yeah. That's they were having a dance scene. Yeah. That's when they started meet Felicity and Austin started falling
for her.
Like just met her and already. Movies are so fucking cliche and so fucking stupid. That doesn't happen really.
Sounds like you hate women.
Nah, man, it just sounds like that's like bullshit. You just met this bitch in like one day. What about how much time passed in there? Because literally there's like
Austin Powers only needs a day for you to just completely fall in love. He only needs 30. He only needed a minute with Ivana Humpalot. She was sent there to kill him, and then she's like, "You're so damn sexy."
Yeah, same thing with a lot of.
Vagina. Then they get shot up into space. He escapes the island. They get shot up in the. They're on a spaceship now, and they end up making fun of.
They go on Apollo 11. Austin follows him on Apollo 11.
They make fun of.
No!
Star Wars when he's like, Austin.
No, you forgot one detail, one part. We're skipping this part, which is hilarious. How Dr. Evil gets to the moon. He gets to the moon in a spaceship shaped like a penis. Cockatoo balls. Then they go on and run a joke about that looks like a giant. It's like wanker. It's like Wang.
Yeah.
They go through the whole name. Johnson. That looks like a giant. And
One-eyed Willie.
One-eyed monster. One-eyed monster. Come to see the one-eyed monster. It's hilarious. That's part of that. I
Yeah,
love that
so-
little gag because it was sort of like, what was the other one? The one from the first part. What was the joke? Was something similar, or was this the one?
No, they do that in the next.
In the next one, they pay homage to this one. Yeah, you're right. But this joke was hilarious. And then he gets to the moon. Austin Powers and Felicity follow him on Apollo 11.
And Austin Powers has a big showdown against Mini-Me.
Yeah, he has a big fight scene with Mini-Me.
I was like, Mini-Me has some memorable moments too. He hates
Scott.
Scott, wants to kill him,
Yeah.
and Dr. Evil's okay with that. And then they have their musical number when they do just the two of us when they fucking dance.
We can make it if we try.
But yeah, I like Mini-Me in the movie. I met him in real life, got his
Vern
autograph. Vern Troyer is so small. They sat him at an autograph table, right?
Yeah.
He has a high chair like I'm sitting in right now too.
Yeah.
But he still couldn't reach the table. He's also sitting on 2 thick phone books. And he needed 2 phone books, and then he's sitting on that just to reach the table. That's how short he is. He's really, really small, but nice in real life. Vern Troy is the shit.
It's cool.
But yeah, that's a big memorable moment.
The fight scene with them?
Yeah, when he
Yeah.
fights, and then he's like, "Peace,
Peace."
peace," just spits in his eyes. Oh!
And beats him up.
He doesn't. He bites his crotch.
Yeah,
and
he
starts.
started banging his head on the poles. Yeah.
Oh man,
That was funny. That was a great scene. And then he shits him out into space.
he does it.
And we get Dr. Evil is about to finish his plan to take over the world. He's about to target I think it's Washington D.C. first on his list. Yeah, and then he shoots the laser beam. And it misses because Austin Powers comes in time. But he had to decide. I forgot this part. He had to decide whether to save his new girlfriend Felicity or stop. So he stops the laser from shooting her.
but she died.
But she dies. And then when he's chasing Dr. Evil gives him the idea. But first he does that scene where he said it was like,
yeah.
I am your father.
Really? No, not really.
Not really.
But it turns out that they are related.
Yeah,
we find that out in the next movie.
one. But he gives him a plan. So he uses the time machine to go back 10 minutes. Then he helps his past Austin Powers help him both save the world and save Felicity. So that's how the movie ends. Dr. Evil escapes again.
He's with Vern Troy.
He gets Mini-Me. He finds Mini-Me. And he vows vengeance.
That's where they continue that joke
On
because he's like,
Richard
"Don't worry, Mini-Me. It's just a little prick."
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. And then he gets him yeah. So Felicity is the end scene is where her having sex with other Austin Powers.
Fat bastard interrupts.
Oh yeah, that's how. Yeah.
That's how
That's how the movie ends. The movie ends with them having to take out.
Kill him one more time,
and then Fat Bastard, kid takes him out. But then, like after the end credit scene, I was mentioning is Felicity's having sex with Austin Powers from 10 minutes ago.
Oh,
who's
yeah,
still
yeah,
there,
yeah.
and he's like, "Oh, it's technically not having, it's
So
not
have
cheating because he's actually you." I mean,
we are sexy bitches.
that was a whole funny thing too about him seeing his clone and him interacting with his clone like that. That's funny.
I said I didn't think it was. I don't think it's better than the first movie. Well, would you say this is better than the first?
No, I wouldn't say that, but it is funny. It's a good one.
Scale of 1 to 10. I gave the last one a 9. I'll give this one. It's up there. The jokes land. I'll give it 8.5.
Yeah, I'll say 8. We'll go with an 8. 8 score of 8, and forgot what. That's it. That's about it, right? We discussed everything we wanted in 24 minutes.
Yeah, no, I would say. I guess we're on to Gold Member. Next time on
Talking Franchise. Talking Franchise. The Talking Franchise.